Hey friends, welcome to the kitchen. I'm Curtis, of course, the host with the most. Today, okay, honey, what's the name of the company that Meg works for?
First leaf.
First Leaf. So our friend Meg and her husband Peter Wozniak. Well, what's Meg's last name? She's got a long one, right?
Decuculare.
DeCucchiolare. Okay. Anyway, Meg, she's wonderful. Peter's just as wonderful. She works for a company called First Leaf, and they distribute wines from all over the globe. Today I'm trying a scissor kick cellar. Honey, where's this one from? I don't have my glasses on.
It is from Australia.
Australia, down under?
Yep.
Let's see. This is a, honey, I gotta get my glasses on. Product of Australia. Oh, it's a Cabernet Sauvignon. Okay, let's see. Okay. Not great, not bad. I'm gonna let it open up a bit. Gonna make a roast today. Some people say pot roast, you know. My mother made the most incredible pot roast. My brother Jeffrey loved Mama's Sunday afternoon pot roast. She didn't do fried chicken for me. She was doing pot roast for Jeffrey because we love that stuff. I've got my DJI camera working today while Lisa's over there doing her work. I'm gonna scan, see if I can pan down so you can see our ingredients for today. There's our roast, of course. It's just a chuck, a nice chuck that I'm going to wash, then we'll pat dry. So let's move that out of the way. Put it over to the sink, but we're gonna wash that off camera. And yes, pat it dry. Here I've got some of these organic carrots that I picked up out at that beautiful farm stand, Gospel Flats farm stand out in Bodega. Did I say Bodega? I mean Bolinas. And then, of course, we're gonna have some garlic. I've got a couple of carrots in the fridge. I may add those to it as well. Remember when it comes to the organic food, now look at that. I've washed these already. However, they've got a little staining from that beautiful black, rich soil out west, Marin. So I will peel those. However, it won't hurt you. Remember those earthy minerals with iron, zinc, all those things. A couple of stalks of celery I'll chop up. Flour, we'll talk about that when we get ready to brown our roast. I've got a blend of spices and herbs here. I'm trying to think of what's all in there. I talk with you all about seasoning often, and it's whatever you like, add as your seasoning. A lot of folks will do their pot roast, and they'll just use salt and pepper. I love adding stuff to it. Salt, pepper, of course. The rosemary. This rosemary came from my garden, beautiful. And a lot of folks will just put the rosemary twigs in. I like to break it because remember, it's the oil inside of these herbs that we really want to release. And when you break it or tear it, that allows much more of that oil, those herb oils to come out. I'm going to move it to my left, your right. I've got some potatoes. Well, let's do the onions first. We're going to dice up some onions and add to it when after we brown our beef. And the potatoes I'm going to put in about an hour and a half before the pot roast is done. I've got some broth. I love to use, as Joe Carcione would say, vegetable broth, as opposed to beef broth. The classic way, if there's such a thing, classic, is to use the beef broth. However, and I say this often when I'm making soups or stews, that I use the vegetable broth because it allows all the other flavors to come out. I love the term marry when it comes to cooking because you really bring all those flavors together. Let me bring this up since I'm talking to you face to face. I'm going to tell you that. I love that term marry when it comes to cooking. You're blending things. You're blending all these families. Like when Lisa and I get married, we're taking the two families, the Cobb family, the Aikens family, and bringing it together. So we're marrying that. All right, so I'm going to come back. We'll chop these vegetables up. I'll pat down. I like to get these ready first. Then we'll go and brown the beef. I'm going to put it in that. Oh, I forgot to show you my braising pan, or some say Dutch oven. I've got a Dutch oven that I had shipped out from Georgia that my dear friend, like a sister to me, Victoria Pesh Elliott, gave me, and it got a couple of bumps on it. So I'm not sure if I can use it. I've got to take a little more inspection of that pan because, if that inside gets cracked, you don't really want to use it in the oven. So, okay, a little more of this scissor kick. You want some, honey? You want to try the red wine? Okay, cool. I'll see what she thinks about it when we get back. Okay, let's do some chopping. All right, we're back in black. I've got the roast that has been washed, and I'm going to pat it dry. You know, and I laugh when I think about it. Back in the day when, you know, you go to the butcher shop and they cut everything right in front of you, the big thing about meat was that it had bone dust on it. So that was one of the reasons you really, really washed and patted dry beef back then. Nowadays, you know, it's pre-cut and washed, so it's not as, I mean, I still do it because mom did it. However, don't trip out. Now we're gonna leave this out, let it come up to room temperature because that beef cooks better at room temp. So I'm gonna move that off to the side, my left, your right. And it's not too hot in the house today. I'm gonna put this paper over here because it'll go in the trash can in a minute. Now, let's get to working on our vegetables. Well, let's prep our vegetables first by removing those carrot tops. That can go in our mulch pile. We're gonna peel the carrots and then just chop them up. And it doesn't matter large or small, just get your carrots the size that you like. Then we'll go ahead and chop our celery, onions next. That little boy gave me a hard time peeling it tonight. Chop those up and get them ready for the pan. We'll do the potatoes a little later on in the show. Today, because it's so windy out there, we're gonna go ahead and prep up our beef, braise it a bit in the pan, then we'll move it to the oven. So let's get started. I'm going to add a little oil to my dish here. Take a look at that. Now that's a heavy, nice heavy bottom pan there. A little bit of olive oil. And while that's heating up, I'm not going to add too much because there's fat in the beef. While that's heating up, let's go ahead and season our chuck. All right, salt, pepper, and all those gorgeous seasonings that we have there. Remember when I did my Food Network show, I always had a mixture of salt and pepper. I can't remember if that was Drew Naporant or Michael Nishan, who was the one who really gave me that idea. Instead of having them separated, just do a little salt pepper blend. Michael Nishan is a fabulous chef. I think he made his television debut like so many young chefs back in the day on my show. Herb Williams, even Marcus Samuelson made his television debut on my show back in the day with the Food Network. Yeah, Marcus, you're big time now, but I had you at my place too, remember? All right, so we're going to season this up on both sides. And I've got a pair of tongs that I'm going to use to lift this. Again, we don't want to, well, I'd always be careful of cross-contamination. So I found a smaller pair of tongs. I'm able to grip heavier items better than using a big pair of tongs, okay? So I'm going to flip that over and we'll season the other side, okay? Same thing, we're going to keep that hand nice and dry. Salt, pepper all over. And then my seasoned blend. You know, you can always add a little more as it's cooking. And I do believe that pan, yeah, it's getting there. And we're going to cook it on all sides. Take your time, season it up. Okay. I do have a separate plate. We'll transfer this. We're not going to use the same plate. However, we'd have enough time to go over and wash it if we wanted to. Just that I want you to see this. There we go. And I add this beautiful roast. You hear that? Oh yeah. All that seasoning goes in. I'm going to add a little more oil to this. What do you think, huh? That look good? Can you smell it, honey? I'm going to let that cook. Let's see if I can get a close-up on that. Oh, yeah. Nice close-up of that. Take your time here. I'm going to take this plate. I'm going to take this plate over to the sink. Did you miss me? All right. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. You want to brown that thoroughly. Just take your time here and just let that brown. A little more of that scissor kick. What's what it called, baby? Scissor kick. We're going to use the wine in there to deglaze the pan. Make everything come together. Gonna let this cook 4 or 5 minutes. We'll be back. We're ready to, before we go, I've got flour here. I'm gonna add a little flour to the top. Why am I adding the flour? Well, it's gonna help to make our sauce even better. Looky, looky, looky. Here comes cookie. See, with the smaller tongs, I can just really grip that. When you have a very large pair, sometimes it can get a little flimsy on you, so just take your time. A little more oil there. Keep our pan from, do some on the top. Pot roast, or just beef roast, as Mama would have called it. My garlic, I forgot to show you chopping the garlic. However, you've seen me do that so many times on different shows. No big loss. I've got a little bit of my vegetable broth. That also helps to deglaze that pan. Deglaze just means to move all that liquid, loosen that liquid, to loosen the drippings on the bottom of the pan, okay? Now I've got my extra plate over here. I'm going to pull our roast off and put it on this clean plate right here, just so it can rest. Now we'll get our vegetables ready. Oh yeah. Take that off right there. A little more olive oil to the bottom here. We got it nice and hot. Don't worry. We'll deglaze that with olive oil, with broth and the red wine. So we're going to add our carrots and onions because they take the longest to cook. Carrots. Here come the onion. Pardon my reach. The onion. And we'll add a little bit of this broth to help soften things up. Does the house smell good, honey?
Yummy.
Look at that. See, all that comes out, the sticky stuff comes off the bottom there. Ooh, yeah. Let that get nice and hot. We'll add our celery. Just let that cook a bit. Oh, look at that. Now, more of our seasoned blend. Season those vegetables. You know, it's very hard, it's very difficult to mess up a pot roast if you just follow these little steps, okay? Just, you know, brown that beef on both sides. Add your vegetables, okay? Gonna add some garlic now. And we're gonna add you can let these cook, 7 to 10 minutes. As long or as little as you like, because remember, you can't undercook vegetables. And when you're doing a slow pot roast like this, no way they're gonna be undercooked. Now, let's just turn, oh, look at that. See, all that beautiful drippings are coming off the bottom of that pan there. I'm gonna add just a little bit of my red wine, just to loosen it up even more. We're almost ready to add our roast back. I'm going to make a little well in the middle there. Remember, about an hour or so before we take it out, we're going to add those potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and peel those and get them ready. Let's add our beef roast back. I'm going to let this cook for about 5 or 10 minutes on the stove top like this. We're going to place the lid on, then we'll transfer this whole gorgeous thing to the oven. I'm going to slide this on my rack underneath. That plate on the rack underneath there. We're going to add the last of the garlic. All the garlic in there. I'm going to add my rosemary, pardon my reach, my rosemary. A little more flour across the top. All this does is help to thicken our gravy. I've got some more vegetable broth I'm going to add. We're almost ready for our lid. And we're going to add a nice helping of red wine. That was about half a cup to 3/4 of a cup. Just let it cook. And it's okay if you want to turn it once or twice before we place the lid on. My mother was such a great, not good, great cook. She would make her pot roast on top of the stove. And it was so tender, and mine, I put it in the oven to more like a braised. However, my mother, the way she could knock out a pot roast, like I said earlier, my brother Jeffrey was a pot roast fanatic. Let's turn this over one more time, and then we're going to get the lid on, and we're going to place it in the oven. And let the magic happen. Ooh, yeah. Look at that. Like I said, I have my oven at 300 degrees because it runs a little hotter than others. I'm going to add the lid to this. Let it cook for just a bit. I'm going to lower this flame. We're going to go to the oven. Peace. Spread love. Okay, let's get her in the oven. It is 7 o'clock. It's time to rock. Okay, so this one was not working. Now it's working. Go figure, right? Okay, let's peel these potatoes, get ready for our pot roast. That one you just kind of pull down. I like that peeler there. Careful of your fingers. Okay. Now these little bitty fingerling potatoes, I'm just going to remove any eyes if they've been sprouting. Lisa wanted me to cut back on the amount of potatoes we cook, and I love potatoes. She wants to cut back on those carbohydrates. Why? I don't know. I think she's beautiful, so hey. Anywho. Okay, so let's get this one peeled up. I'm going to dice it up. I'm going to cut these into large pieces. The pot roast The beef roast has been in the oven now for about an hour and a half. Now look, just inspect them. They have been washed. If there are any eyes, that's when they start to sprout. Just remove those, okay? Little fingerling. What I like to do sometimes is take the knife and just kind of flick like that. You see how I just flicked that little eye out of there? A little paring knife. Jacques Pepin's favorite blade to work with. Okay. Jacques Pepin, the living legend. Oh, you know, I was home a couple of weeks ago and had a lot of things shipped out, and I found this book, Yan Can, and I think I brought it in the house. If I get a chance, I'll pull that out before the show is over and share with you some of Martin's work, some of his art. I mean, his work you can see every week on television on his show. My sisters, we're in a group text. I've been sharing pictures of my first grandchild, little Graham Otto. As soon as the kids say it's okay, I'll share pictures of Graham Otto with you all at home, okay? All right, so the spuds are about ready. These, I'll wash them again, and we'll add them to the pot roast. I'll bring that out so you can see it, okay? Peace. Spread love. Okay, so let's bring this roast out. Take our first look at it. I got my gloves on here. I don't want to burn myself. Lisa loves these things. She had these in New York and New Jersey with her. She brought them out, and I am using them because I love her. Okay. Looky. Now I'm putting this on top of our, those are the stones that I use when I'm cooking the Wagyu beef. Okay. Our first peek at our roast. Oh, look at that. Wow. Mama would be proud of me. Now, take a little look here. It's getting there. It's got a way to go, but boy, oh boy. Beautiful. Let's turn it over. There we go. I'm going to add these potatoes. Now, I've washed all of those. You see the water there. And I'm going to cut them into rather large pieces. I just love potatoes with pot roast, so I'm going to just cut these. Let this cook for about an hour or two more. Just gonna let it cook. You know, you can't overcook this. And those potatoes. Now remember, there's starch in the potatoes, so that, just like the flour, will help to thicken this beautiful gravy up. Isn't that gorgeous there? You can also check it if you want to add a little more seasoning. You can do that here at this point. But so far, our little pot roast is jamming. We be jamming. Is that a Bob Marley song? Jamming in the name of the Lord. Whoa, jamming. Now those, I'm just going to cut like one time. These are little fingerling potatoes, right? Put those in the skins and all. Okay. All right, now we'll get this back in the oven and let it do its thing. I'm going to taste this before I go to bed tonight, although it is 8:13. Ugh. Yeah. My sister called earlier. She's coming out and she says, "You're cooking pot roast this late?" And I go, "Baby, I forgot how late it got. That, with the time change, we lose. I mean, the whole day is just zipping by. It's like all of a sudden it's 9 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, whatever." All right, now we're going to mix these in and just let it cook. Let's put it back in the oven and let's let the magic work. Peace. Spread love. Get my gloves back on. Look at the steam coming off that beautiful roast. Our lid goes back on there. Back to the oven. Okay, you all, this has been cooking for about 3.5 hours. I lost track of the time. I tell you, and the whole thing is about getting it nice and tender. So let's put it up here on the top. I'll reset the camera. This is going to be heaven. Look at that. Wow. Gorgeous. All right, let's give it a taste. Martin Yan, what an incredible human being. He is as wonderful as his smile is large. His heart, he's so deserving of the honor that the James Beard Foundation has given. And I'm sharing this with you firsthand. I love this dude, and we haven't worked together in a long time. However, he's in my house. Here's Martin's, the book he signed for me years ago when we were doing some Cooking Across America events for Food Network. And the 4 Chinese symbols are for luck, prosperity, good fortune. Now, this is his art. Martin drew this, and I had forgotten about it. It's been in the book for that long, right? And what a cool brother. Miss working with him. Martin, congratulations on your Lifetime Award from the Beard Foundation. No one's as deserving as you, my brother. Peace. Keep spreading love. It's that time for putting it in your mouth to see how it tastes. Oh, I tell you, it smells beautiful. Let's see. Am I too close to you? All those potatoes. Like heaven. Pot roast. So tender. Bon appetit. Good stuff. So tonight, I'm paying homage to my friend Martin Yan. I'm going to make my version of beef and broccoli. To you, Martin. Peace. Okay, so at this point we can pour the wine, and tonight we're going to have a white wine, a Chardonnay with our beef. Don't get upset at me for serving white wine with beef, because if it's a good wine, it goes with anything. Peace and love, bon appetit, stay safe wherever you are across the country, around the world. Love from the Aikens household. Peace out.